2:04 a.m. January 10, 2024. The paramedics from Birmingham Fire and Rescue Service had seen too much death in their careers, but pronouncing 21-year-old Mia Nickson dead in her own driveway, just 15 feet from her front door, hit differently. 34 minutes. That's all the time that separated her final Facebook live broadcast from this moment. 34 minutes between heated words on a screen and gunshots in the dark. Officer Truman Fitzgerald would arrive at the scene on Green Crest Turn in the Crestwood community, watching as yellow crime scene tape transformed a residential street into evidence. Behind him, a family shattered. Ahead of him, a case that would become Birmingham's second homicide of 2024 before the month was even halfway through. The blue light of smartphones had already begun flickering in windows up and down the block. News travels fast in the digital age. By dawn, everyone would know that the girl who survived one shooting couldn't escape the second, 72 hours before. The setup. To understand how Mia Nickson ended up in her driveway at 1:45 a.m., you have to understand what was taken from her in 2022. Picture this: a neighborhood dispute, escalating voices, then gunfire. Mia caught in the crossfire, because that's what happens when you're in the wrong place at the wrong time in Birmingham. Multiple gunshot wounds, weeks in the hospital, surgeries stacking on top of surgeries while doctors fought to save what they could. What they couldn't save: full vision in her right eye, hearing in her right ear, the ability to walk without a limp, courtesy of a shattered left leg that required metal rods and months of rehabilitation. What they did save: Mia's life, her spirit, her ambition. 6 months post-shooting, she was back, not just surviving, thriving, building her brand as a nail technician and stylist. Those intricate designs she created, she did them with partial blindness, relying on her left side, developing workarounds that most people would never notice. Her clients saw the art. They didn't always see the artist compensating for depth perception issues, tilting her head to hear their requests, carefully navigating her workspace with a permanent limp. The digital stay. Mia Nickson understood something fundamental about 2024. Your online presence is your identity. Facebook Live became her stage, not just for showcasing nail designs, though she did plenty of that, but for being unapologetically herself. Unfiltered commentary, magnetic personality, the kind of broadcasts where people tuned in just to see what she'd say next. She was beloved, talented, and excelling in the hair and nail field. Officer Fitzgerald would later tell WBRC. She was extremely popular. Popular, that word matters, because popularity in the digital age means visibility, and visibility means vulnerability. The night everything changed. 1:00 a.m. January 10, 2024. Inside her home on Green Crest Turn, Mia went live. Her cousin was somewhere in the house, her aunt, 2 younger relatives. A typical night initially, casual conversation with her followers, hearts and reactions flooding the comment section. Then someone named Youngster showed up in the comments. The accusations came fast. She'd set him up for a robbery, put his name in situations, crossed lines that shouldn't be crossed. 1:15 a.m. Y'all see this what I'm talking about? Mia leaned into the camera, her voice rising with each syllable. The casual vibe evaporated. This was personal. You know damn well I ain't have nothing to do with that. Stop putting my name in stuff. The tension had been building for weeks. Indirect social media jabs, subtweets, comments on mutual friends' posts. The kind of slow-burning conflict that characterizes modern disputes, fought in public, witnessed by hundreds, escalating in real time. 1:30 a.m. broadcast ended, phone set down. Somewhere in the darkness of Birmingham, a blue Chevrolet Impala with custom aftermarket rims began moving toward Crestwood. The critical 15 minutes. 1:32 a.m. Mia's phone rang. 2-minute conversation. No one knows exactly what was said except Mia and whoever called from that prepaid, untraceable number. But here's what investigators would later discover. Mia's voice recording app had been activated at 1:33 a.m. Accidentally, deliberately. That question remains unanswered. What the recording captured was crystal clear. "You think you can just put my business out there like that? I'm pulling up right now. Come outside." A male voice, distinctive speech pattern, a slight stutter on words beginning with P and B. 1:40 a.m. security cameras from a neighboring house would later show Mia exiting her home, moving quickly despite that permanent limp. Heading toward her driveway where her car sat parked, she appeared agitated. Family members inside noticed but didn't intervene. How could they know what was about to unfold? 1:43 a.m. The dark-colored sedan materialized on green crest turn, headlights off, tinted windows. The grainy security footage couldn't capture the make, model, or how many people sat inside. What it did capture, Mia approaching the vehicle, stopping approximately 10 feet away. A brief exchange, no audio, just figures in darkness. Then muzzle flashes illuminated everything. 4 to 6 gunshots, according to neighbors who would later give statements. The kind of sound that shatters suburban silence and brings people running to their windows. Mia collapsed onto concrete. Immediately. No dramatic fall, no Hollywood moment, just physics and finality. The vehicle's headlights switched on. It sped away, turning right at the end of Green Crest Turn, disappearing into Birmingham's night. 1:45 a.m. 2 minutes post-shooting, the 911 call came in. Mia's cousin, voice shaking. "She's been shot multiple times. There's blood everywhere, please hurry." The dispatcher tried to keep her calm. "Walk me through what you see. Is she breathing? Can you check for a pulse?" But even as Birmingham Police Department units were being dispatched, even as the cousin followed instructions and attempted first aid, the outcome was already determined. The investigation, UNFLDS. Hour 1, the scene. Officers arrived at 1:52 a.m., 7 minutes after that initial call. They found Mia face up in the driveway, multiple gunshot wounds to her torso and one to her head. Life-saving measures were attempted anyway, because that's protocol, because you have to try. Birmingham Fire and Rescue arrived at 1:58 a.m. At 2:04 a.m., they pronounced what everyone already knew. Inside the house, 4 family members, physically unharmed but psychologically devastated. None had witnessed the actual shooting. They'd only emerged after hearing the gunshots, only found Mia after the vehicle had fled. But the cousin remembered something crucial. She was arguing with someone called Youngster. He was making threats about coming to our house. By 2:15 a.m., yellow tape cordoned off Green Crest Turn. Crime scene technicians began their methodical work. Photographs, measurements, shell casings, 5 of them, 9 rounds, positioned in the street rather than on the driveway. This detail mattered. The shooter never left the vehicle. Hour 5, digital forensics. Detective Marcus Williams understood immediately what this case required. A specialized team, digital forensics experts, traditional homicide investigators, community liaison officers, because this murder lived at the intersection of social media and street violence. The Facebook Live video was preserved before it could disappear into the digital void. Technicians enhanced audio and video quality, documenting every comment, every threat, every moment of escalation. The username Youngster became their first target. The account had existed for 3 years, interacting with Mia's profile repeatedly in recent weeks. Day 1. The evidence mounts. Mia's smartphone, unlocked using fingerprint data obtained during autopsy procedures, yielded gold. That 1:32 a.m. incoming call from a prepaid phone. Cell tower data placing the caller within half a mile of Green Crest Turn at the time. And that voice recording, accidental or intentional, it didn't matter. What mattered was the threat, the timeline, the distinctive stutter that forensic audio analysts would catalog and document. The neighborhood canvas produced witnesses. A resident 3 houses down, dark blue Chevrolet Impala, distinctive aftermarket rims, driving slowly through the area 20 minutes before the shooting. The car passed him twice, suspicious enough to remember. The break anonymous tips change cases. This one came through Birmingham's community tip line. Youngster is Damon McDaniel, 22 years old, lives in Fairfield. He's been bragging about handling that situation with Mia. And yeah, he drives a blue Impala with custom wheels. Database search, Damon McDaniel, prior record, assault, unregistered firearm possession. Currently in custody at Alabama Department of Corrections on a probation violation, arrested January 12th. 2 days after Mia's murder, McDaniel was already behind bars for something else entirely. Building the case the search. Warrant approved. McDaniel's Fairfield apartment searched. Inside, a box of 9 ammunition matching the brand and type used in the shooting. Cleaning supplies in the garage. Evidence suggesting a recent, thorough vehicle cleaning. The blue Chevrolet Impala wasn't at the apartment. It was eventually located at a relative's property in Bessemer, Alabama. Forensic technicians processed every inch of that car. Microscopic blood spatter on the driver's side door. DNA analysis confirmed. Mia Nickson. This meant McDaniel was close enough when firing those fatal shots for her blood to reach his vehicle. Close enough to see her face. Close enough to be absolutely certain of what he was doing. The digital trail. Cell phone records from McDaniel's provider. His device connected to the same tower as that prepaid phone that called Mia just before her murder. Movement patterns matched the crime timeline, traveling from Fairfield to Birmingham, specifically to the tower nearest Green Crest turn during those critical minutes. The voice forensic audio analysts obtained recordings of McDaniel's voice from previous police interviews and jail calls. Compared against the recording from Mia's phone, 97% match in speech patterns, including that distinctive stutter on P and B sounds. The suspect profile, Damon Youngster McDaniel, 22 years old, Fairfield, Alabama resident, not a stranger to law enforcement. First documented encounter with juvenile justice at 15, vandalism and trespassing. By 18, assault and illegal firearm possession. A pattern of probation violations. Failure to appear for court dates. Escalating criminal behavior documented in official records. The connection. McDaniel and Mia weren't close. They moved in overlapping social circles, Birmingham's local music and nightlife scene, occasional interactions in comment sections of mutual friends, casual encounters at events. Nothing to suggest violence was inevitable until the robbery. The alleged setup. 1 week before Mia's murder, McDaniel was at a local club, flashing cash while buying drinks, approximately $2,000. Later that night in the parking lot, robbed at gunpoint. Cash and gold chain gone. Somehow, McDaniel became convinced Mia had set him up. A mutual acquaintance claimed she'd been overheard discussing his money situation shortly before the robbery. True, false, irrelevant ultimately. What mattered was McDaniel believed it. Let that belief fester for a week. Let it build until Facebook Live provided the perfect stage for confrontation. Justice in motion. February 15, 2024. Detective Williams presented his case to the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. Evidence reviewed. Arrest warrant approved. Intentional murder, a capital offense in Alabama. February 16, 2024. Press conference. Detective Williams and Officer Fitzgerald addressing cameras. Through diligent investigation and with the cooperation of community members, we have identified and charged Damon McDaniel with the intentional murder of Mia Nickson. While this doesn't bring Mia back to her loved ones, We hope it begins the process of justice for her family." Fitzgerald added, "This case highlights the importance of community cooperation. Tips from concerned citizens were instrumental in identifying the suspect and building this case." February 18, 2024. McDaniel transferred from Bibb Correctional Facility to Jefferson County Jail. February 20, 2024. Initial court appearance. Formal charge: intentional murder under Alabama Code Section 13A62. Potential penalties: life imprisonment to death, depending on aggravating factors. Bail denied. Judge cited both the charge's severity and McDaniel's history of probation violations, flight risk, community danger. McDaniel maintained innocence. Appointed public defender indicated they'd contest evidence at trial, particularly questioning the voice recording's reliability and witness identifications. Assistant District Attorney Sarah Hoffman outlined the prosecution's position. "The evidence will show that Mr. McDaniel made a deliberate decision to arm himself, drive to Miss Nickson's residence, lure her outside, and take her life." Aftermath and legacy. The wait for trial. July 2025. Damon McDaniel remains in custody. COVID-19 pandemic backlog delayed proceedings. Trial scheduled for September 2025. His legal team filed multiple motions challenging evidence admissibility. The prosecution remains confident, citing comprehensive digital, physical, and testimonial evidence. No plea arrangements being considered. Maximum penalty being pursued. Remembering Mia. The beauty supply store where Mia purchased materials now features a mural, her portrait on the exterior wall. Commissioned by local business owners. Flowers appear on significant dates. A local beauty school established a scholarship in her name, funding aspiring nail technicians and stylists. They partnered with women's shelters, offering free beauty services to survivors of violence, something Mia herself had discussed wanting to do. January 10, 2025, 1 year later. Railroad Park in Birmingham. Over 200 people gathered for a candlelight vigil. Speakers included family members, former clients, anti-violence advocates. T-shirts bearing Mia's image and justice for Mia throughout the crowd. The event honored her memory while serving as a reminder: disputes escalate, words become weapons. Digital conflicts manifest in real-world violence. The Lesson Birmingham Police Department incorporated Mia's story into community outreach programs targeting young adults. Officer Fitzgerald in a recent interview. "What happened to Mia Nickson should remind us all that words exchanged online can have devastating consequences offline." Final reflection. Mia Nickson was 21 years old when she died. She had survived one shooting that left her partially blind, partially deaf, permanently limping. She rebuilt her life afterward, pursuing her passion for nail art and styling, building a following, creating beauty despite her challenges. She shouldn't have had to survive a second shooting. She didn't. 4 family members were inside her home on Green Crest Turn that night, physically unharmed but forever changed. They attend every court proceeding. They wear her image. They demand justice. The trial approaches. Evidence compiled. Witnesses prepared. Prosecutors confident in their case against Damon McDaniel. But regardless of verdict, regardless of sentence, one truth remains unchanged. Mia Nickson's future was stolen in the aftermath of a digital dispute that spilled tragically into the real world. Her final broadcast, preserved forever in the digital realm, stands as both testament and warning. Her last words captured on screen. Her life ended in darkness, 34 minutes from argument to death. That's how fast everything can change. That's how quickly words become violence. That's the story of Mia Nickson, talented, beloved, and gone too soon. The trial of Damon McDaniel is scheduled to begin in September 2025. Updates will follow as the case progresses through Alabama's justice system.